Hi there, I'm Mark Longley and thanks for stopping by today. Now what I wanted to chat to you about today is remembering the long-term benefit of what you're training for. What I find with a lot of runners is that they're thinking race to race. So what happens, what I normally see is that someone starts out training, so put a solid training block behind them, and then they'll start to do a couple of races. So it's race, and then all of a sudden you'll get a fantastic race, and then you're always trying to race more and more and more, so that you're trying to get better each time. So whether if it's your 5K, for instance, and you're doing park runs, then you'll be out there every Saturday trying to smash a park run PB. What you'll know and what you'll understand, and if you've been through this process before, what you'll see is that at some point your plateau will start to go backwards, or worst case scenario, you get injured. And what I will say is that one of the key statistics in regards to running injury prevention is that 80% of runners are getting injured at least once every 12 months. This is obviously quite an alarming statistic, and one that I want to change. So what I really want to encourage you to do is think about what you're doing long term. I talk a lot about my articles about moving, basically having a 12-month goal. So for instance, if it's June now, obviously it's not, but if it's June now and you're working towards, say, Gold Coast Marathon next year, which is early July, then you've got 12 months to plan. So as soon as that training block begins, we want to have some time off. We're going to have 2 to 4 weeks completely off running to be able to recover. Every runner needs that time off to be able to recuperate, get the time off the legs, and get away from running for a bit and set those goals. Set the goals, then we start to build our base or do our off-season. That's where we do our long, slow running. It's where we shouldn't be racing at all, or if we want to race from a social point of view, go in and just run at your long run pace. And within my other articles and so forth, I talk about what long run pace should be. After a few months of doing that, then we can move into our heavy training load phase. Now that phase we might be doing more runs per week, starting to add in a lot more anaerobic type stuff while trying to still build our aerobic base. So all of those things are building together. That's a very high volume, high intensity type phase. Once we get through that 3 to 4 month period, then we can start to get into our competition period. That's when we can start to drop down our training volume. That's when we can start to race more and see the benefits of our training. When you start to look at things like this, you can start to see, okay, I've got a 3-month window where I want to hit my goals for the year. When you start to do that, then you start to race less, or when you do race, you race effectively. I'm not saying to do less of the social aspects and that sort of thing, and not to necessarily reduce down the number of races that you're doing. It's just during the 9 months of the year where you're not trying to achieve a goal, it's just doing those runs nice and easy, still getting the social benefits out of what you're doing. So always remember that. I like to have a 2 to 3 year plan in place for myself. So for instance, I might go, okay, I want to do a 5K time this year, 10K time next year, half marathon time the year after, and then a marathon time the year after that. So I know that I'm slowly going to be building year after year. I'm going to start developing my base, building my base slowly over that time, and I'm not rushed to get to that goal. I see a lot more runners these days pushing the envelope and really trying to get to that marathon within a 6-month period, and it can be disastrous because you're trying to increase your training load too much. You're not periodising and having those quieter weeks when you need to. So always think of what you want to achieve long term with your running, and then take that periodised view of what you're doing so that you can really enhance what you're doing, decrease your injuries, and get better performance ultimately. Once again, thanks for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Jump across to my website, and if you want any help with your programming, check out my one-on-one programs or my 4-week programs, and I can help you out. Thanks again.